ਸਤਨਾਮ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ। ਇੱਕ ਓਂਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ 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 ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ। ਸਤਨਾਮ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ। ਧੰਨ ਧੰਨ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ ਕਾਲ ਪੁਰਖ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇਵ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ, ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ, ਪਿਤਾ ਪਾਰ ਬ੍ਰਹਮ ਅਕਾਲ ਪੁਰਖ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਸਾਜੀ ਨਵਾਜੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਰੂਪ ਗੁਰੂ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਗੁਰੂ ਪਿਆਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ ਆਓ ਸਭ ਮਾਈ ਭਾਈ ਧੰਨ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਧਰਦਿਆਂ ਹੋਏ ਗੁਰਫਤਿਹ ਸਾਂਝ ਪਾਈਏ। ਗੁਰੂ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਮੇਰਾ ਕਰਨ, ਬਖਸ਼ਿਸ਼ਾਂ ਕਰਨ, ਜੋ ਵੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ ਬਖਸ਼ਣਗੇ ਕਥਾ ਰਾਹੀਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਹਿਰਦਿਆਂ 'ਚ ਵਸ ਜਾਵੇ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਸੋ ਗੁਰੂ ਰੂਪ ਗੁਰੂ ਪਿਆਰੀ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, ਲਾਸਟ ਵੀਕ we heard how the previous hukam, the seventh hukam of ਪੰਜਾਂ ਕਕਾਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਰਹਿਤ ਰੱਖਣੀ, that ਰਹਿਤ is paramount in a Gursikhi Jivan, whether it's the ਰਹਿਤ of the ਪੰਜ ਕਕਾਰ or whether it's ਰਹਿਤ through ਰਹਿਤਨਾਮੇ or whether it's ਰਹਿਤ that we get through Sri Gurbani ji. We get a lot of ਰਹਿਤ through itihas as well. That where ਰਹਿਤ is paramount, even more paramount, because ਰਹਿਤ is nothing if there is no pyar for Guru Sahib. So what we heard about was how even if an istri, a woman, was to beautify her way using 16 different ways of beautification, but she has no genuine love for her husband, or her husband does not come to visit her, then everything is done in vain. In Gurmat terms, even though from the outside we may look the part, if from inside our pyar towards Guru Sahib Ji is not there, our want is not there, our conviction is not there, then it doesn't do what needs to be done in order for us to achieve whatever Guru Sahib Ji wants to give us. So Guru Pyari Sadh Sangat Ji, after hearing that last week, which was the first part of the 8th Shabad, the 8th Hukam, and the 8th Hukam is Sri Gurbani Ji de Shabad da abhihas karna, meaning that whether it's Mool Mantar, Gur Mantar, whether it's Nitnem, whether it's Shabad that we read again and again, abhihas karna, abhihas Katha karna, we will hear that today. But yes, last week, I beg your pardon, last week we heard how if we have not got the genuine love in us, inside ourselves for Sri Gurbani ji, then everything else is kind of dulled down. So Gurmukho, we all sitting here in Guruji's Sangat. There was a time when each and every single individual, forgetting just this Sangat, throughout the entire planet, if we cast to one side the body that we're wearing, what resides in us is something called our soul. There's actually 4 Swarups altogether. Let's just concentrate on the soul, or what we call the spirit, whichever one fits perfectly with you. The soul that is within us, at one time the Atma and Paramatma, the soul and the universal energy known as God, Allah, Khuda, Waheguru, these both were together. But due to our wants, our desires, our kalpana, we became separated from Akal Purkh Waheguru. Having become separated to live out what our needs and our desires were, we took on body after body after body. Somewhere along this line of taking body after body after body, in our conscience, we somewhere along the line had the desire to meet with Akal Purkh Waheguru. If you look at the entire planet, how many people throughout the entire planet at this minute are sitting in Sadh Sangat? Percentage wise, maybe even less than 0.1%, maybe even less than 0.01%. How many people at this moment are sitting in reflection of what they are, where they have come from, and where they will go? How many people are sitting at this moment in reflection that I am not a body? What I am entered the fetus in the mother's womb at the age of about 12 weeks. What I am shall leave once this body goes back and emerges into the 5 elements from whence it came. And then you'll find not a great deal of people are doing that. Those that are doing that must consider themselves to have Uttam Pag, the greatest. Pag has many different meanings. Normally when translated, you'll read it to be called fortune. Fortune has some level of luck in it. No, Pag is when Guru Sahib Ji views us, looks at our destiny, looks at our past, and does something called Nadar, does mercy on us, which changes the course of the path of the soul that resides within us. If you take your attention to those molecules of water at the surface of the sea, they begin to evaporate, they get separated, they get carried high into the atmosphere. Once they're in the atmosphere, they're totally separated away from the ocean, and if the conditions are right, they take on the form that they left of water droplets. They fall to earth. Some of them will end up in ditches, in puddles. Some will end up on land, seep through the ground, work its way through gravity towards a river. Some of those droplets will fall upon such high mountains that they go into a deep freeze that lasts hundreds, maybe even thousands of years. But some of those droplets of water, they go very close to the river and they end up in the river. Once they are in that river, they do not stop flowing, they do not stop moving until they've re-emerged with the sea. When we are sitting, Gurmukho, in this Sadh Sangat is like that river. Where the flow of the river takes those molecules of water back to the sea from where they came, the flow, the prabhav of this Sad Sangat, whoever comes and sits in it will take it back. Will take the soul back, the Atma back to Paramatma. That is the whole aim of Gursikhi. The water that flows in a river can only flow if there are two banks, one on each side. As long as the water remains within the two banks, it will eventually meet its destination. Maryada, what we heard about over the course of 4 weeks in relation to the Panch Kakar, Maryada as a whole are the two banks of our life. The water flowing in it is our Jivan. The water in it, I beg your pardon, is a Gursikhi Jivan. The flow that is in the river is our want, our desire for Atma to meet with Paramatma. Until that desire is not there, there is no union. Doesn't matter how many droplets of water may end up in that river. Without the flow, the river is just a stagnant pool of water. So in the 8th Hukam, Guru Maharaj says, Shabad da abhihas karna. Why? The Shabad da abhihas becomes the flow in our Jivan to take us back to where we came from. Shabad da abhihas is what creates that setting inside us. Last week when we heard about the 16 Sigar, Maharaj says, 16 kiye Sigar ki anjan pajya je kar aave kant ta sab kich paiye. Maharaj says, if those 16 Sigar, if we have got everything else in place in Sikhi, when the Guru comes to reside inside our heart, it's because of our want, and then we gain everything. When we create that want, we have that love towards Guru Sahib Ji. Now this love, who can just create love? Who can just cause love to happen? We can't. This love is born out of this Shabd Abhihas. The more Bani we read, in the method we're supposed to read it, the more it begins to shape us from the inside. In Sri Japji Sahib, before I move on to Sri Japji Sahib, there's one point I really want to make here. We're living in an age, for what reason I don't know, people feel they've become more wiser than those that have come to this planet before us. They feel they've become more wiser than those high living Gursikhs that have walked on this planet before us. I read a post on Facebook the other day. I found it quite venomous. It says there's no need for Santhya, just start reading Gurbani. Absolutely not. Where we endeavor to do everything else according to its due process in life, we should also have the same attitude to learning Sri Gurbani Ji with the due process. First thing is first for Shabd da Abhihas. It's not hard. I have 3 children, they're sitting here. I'm a working man. I am not Superman. I have managed through something called Bal Upadesh to teach the Penti to my children, the Laga Matra to my children. Did it kill me? No. Was it easy? No, not really. Was it hard? No. You must invest some time and effort into it. So the very first thing for Shabd Abhihas is Shuddh Ucharan. This is not about quantity. This is definitely about quality. And when I say quality, the correct pronunciation of Sri Gurbani Ji. It doesn't take long to learn Penti. It doesn't take long to learn the Laga Matra. It doesn't take long to learn where a tuk becomes heavy, where it becomes light, and how the arth of it changes. All this is learnt in Santhya. I believe, I could be wrong, that there's a Bhai Satpal Singh who lives in Slough. He teaches Santhya at this Gurdwara. So those of you who are sitting here, it's very easy to start coming here once a week and investing an hour a week, hour and a half a week, however long it takes, to learn that one thing that we're going to take away with us from when we leave this planet. Now going back to Shabad abhihas, Santhya is the very first thing we must pay attention to. The second thing, now when we read Gurbani, in Japji Sahib, Maharaj has already told us the method of how to read Sri Gurbani Ji. Maharaj says, Gaviya. Gaviya is to speak. Gaviya, Suniya, Man, Rakhiya, Paho. There's the method. We don't have to go anywhere outside of that to learn how to do Shabad abhihas. Gaviya, speak it with your mouth, with patience. Suniya, what is being spoken with the mouth, listen to it with your own ears. There is no greater way of focusing on what you're reading other than listening to it by your mouth. Gaviya, Suniya, Man. Whatever upadesh, whatever teaching Tan Satguru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj is giving via Sri Gurbani Ji, Man, accept it. Having accepted it, Rakhiya, Pao. Pao, prem, pyar, keep it within yourself with pyar. The starting stages, when we sometimes hear what Guru Sahib is teaching us, we may do it, but we're not doing it with happiness. That's not pao. That's as if someone is pressuring us to do something. No, instruct the mind, condition the mind. We jo mere Guru ne gal kehti, whatever my Guru is saying, it's not only for my benefit, it's there for me to explore and implement in my life. So Gaviya, Suniya, Man Rakhiya, Pao. There's a pankti after this. Dukh parhar, sukh kar le jai. Even though I've read it, I'm not going to go into it. I'm going to come back to it later on. When we follow this method, we start doing Gurbani abhihas in our life. Our Panj Baniya for Nitnem, Rera Sahib in the evening, and Sri Suela Sahib before bed, Gurmukh, that is our agreement that we've entered into with Guru Sahib Ji at the time of Amrit Chakra. Those that have not taken Amrit yet, it doesn't mean that you can't read those Baniya. It doesn't mean there's no commitment from us. This is our agreement with Guru Sahib. The Shabad abhihas is what we do on top of that. What we do on top of our Simran daily, that becomes a Shabad abhihas. Some people do Shabad abhihas of the Panjab Bani the Nitnem, a Shabad from there again and again and again. Why? The Bani that we're reading, Gurmukh, again and again and again, the very first thing it does, let's just pay attention to one pankti from Sri Anand Sahib. E man mereya, tu sada raho har naale. Just that one pankti. The very first time we'll read it, it slips off the tongue and it's gone. Then when we read it by Guru Maharaj's method of Gaviya, Suniya, Man Rakhiya, Pao, Man Mereya. What's the first thing that's happening here? We learn to understand. I'm instructing something called Mera Man, my mind. Eda Gyan Hunda, we get Gyan of that there is something called a man. Then if I'm not this body and there's a man, then what am I? Questions lead to answers. Seeking leads to finding what you are seeking. E man mereya. Mereya, what is mera? Atma. Guru Maharaj Ji, when writing this Bani, writes it from Uttam Bhakta. That means when they want to give someone Upadesh, they don't say, E man thwadeo, ja e man tereya. Maharaj instructs their own mind. When we read that, what are we doing? We are instructing our own mind. Guru Maharaj needs no instruction, but such is their great, fantastic way of teaching us. So when we're reading E man mereya, so E man brings the focus onto there's something called a man inside us. What is this? Where does it live? How was it created? What is it made up of? Under what's governance is it? E man merea, who am I? E man merea, tu sada raho har nal. When you say tu again, you're talking in the second person. Tu sada raho har nal. Always remain with Hari, with God, Karpur, Vaheguru. How, where are we going to go and find God? Then you start to explore what that means. What does it mean? Our focus, our attention, as much as we can throughout the day, keep our focus and our attention in Guru Sahib Ji. Again and again, eh Shabda Abhihas karna. Those of you do Shabda Abhihas, you'll realize how Gurbani takes over your life. The mind that wandered here, there and everywhere stops to wander here, there and everywhere. 90% of those things that we are not supposed to be doing, we automatically stop doing by repeating Gurbani again and again. E man mereya, tu sada raho har naal raho tu man mere, dukh sab visarna, angikar oh kare tera, karj sab swarna, sabna galla samrath swami, so kyo mano visare, kahe nanak man mere, sada raho har naal. Again and again and again, when we allocate time, whether it's before we're about to go to sleep, or whether it's in the morning, or whether it's any time during the day. When you're working, we get dinner break, usually 45 minutes to an hour. Nobody eats for 45 minutes to an hour, not even I do. We eat for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Rather than sitting and making useless talk with people, what we can do is isolate ourselves from those people and start focusing into Gurbani. The more you focus, the more it starts to take over our lives. When we're reading Gurbani, the very first thing Shabda Abhihas does Gurmukho. Our furthermost paths that we've done, it begins to cut that. Doesn't matter how many lives we've lived, the furthermost paths that we have done, it begins to cut those paths away. When we eat food, we've got no control over the food once it's gone down our throat. Our Suchetaman takes care of the chewing, bringing the burki to the mouth, is gone in. What takes over then is something called our Achetaman, our subconscious, our programming. That's what then releases the digestive juices into the gut. That's what then breaks it down and causes enzymes to come, the lock and key theory, and take away nutrients that are needed across the body, then deliver them where they're needed. The whole functioning of the inside is done without us having any influence over it in a conscious way. So when we're reading Sri Gurbani Ji, we're doing Abhihas. The Bani we're reading with the Suchetaman is what takes it inside us. Once it gets inside us, what it does is, we've heard, it starts to cut our path, is the very first thing it does. The second thing it does, Shabda Abhihas, why Maharaj has made this a hukam, it begins to restructure our thinking. Sri Gurbani Ji begins to restructure our thinking. Those of you who have done Shabda Abhihas, you'll realize this. I speak to some Gurmukh sometimes who do Shabda Abhihas, Tan hai Gurmukh. When you're doing Gurbani, Sri Gurbani Ji Shabda Abhihas, you will intuitively start to do things that you don't even know that are part of Gurmat, that even have their roots in Brahm Gyan. You start to do things that you didn't realize that you're doing. You're reforming your life, but these things you're introducing into your life without anyone telling you. And then what happens? A month, 2 months, 6 months, a year later, somewhere along the line, you learn that this is what I've been doing, and now I've heard about it in Katha, and this is what Guru expects from the Sikhs. How? Why does that happen? Because the Sri Gurbani Ji Shabda Abhihas that we're doing, like I said, it starts to take over our lives. The Gurbani Ji that we're speaking, that's coming into our body, the destiny that is written on our foreheads, Gurmukho, it begins to change that. Gur Ankas, such Shabad Nisan. This Bani that we reading, if I compare us to an elephant, to two elephants actually, a wild one and one that has a master over its head, sitting on its head. The wild one can end up anywhere. Poachers can take it. It can end up in a ditch. It can end up being killed by other animals. Now you'd think, what can kill an elephant? You see wildlife programs where lions even hunt elephants. They'll isolate an elephant and they'll kill it. But that elephant who's got a mahavat, a master on his head, he's got something called an ankas, a stick, what he has learned to control the elephant with. He will not let that elephant fall in a ditch. He will not let poachers come and kill that elephant. He will not let that elephant get attacked by other wild animals. When the Sri Gurbani Ji we are reading is inside us, it's like having the master on our head. Sri Gurbani Ji, regardless of what our destiny may be that's written on our forehead, will not, other than Satguru Sahib. Satguru Sahib, Sri Gurbani Sahib, Vaheguru, three are the exact same thing. We have to view them in three different ways to learn. The more you learn, the more you realize that all three are one. Other than Satguru Sahib Ji, no one can change the destiny on our foreheads. The Sri Gurbani Ji is Satguru. When we're doing abhihas of Sri Gurbani Ji, the Guru who wrote the destiny on our foreheads is the one who starts to change it. We may have something in our lives which may otherwise be a great burden. Guru Sahib Ji can not only remove that, dull that, they can even let it happen and give us the strength to carry on through it. Called Pana. So Guru Padshah Ji Maharaj, the 8th Hukam of Shabad abhihas karna, this Gurbani, the abhihas of it, begins to not only cut path, structure our thinking, but also begins to become in charge. I don't want to say change, but in charge of our destiny. The Gurbani we read, Gurmukho, it will never ever, I hate it when I have to use the word it. Sri Gurbani Ji that we read, Sri Gurbani Ji will never ever leave us. There comes a time when those who gave birth to us leave us. Those that we made friends leave us. The planet that we lived on, we end up even leaving this. But the Sri Gurbani Ji, jine abhihas kita, oh Gurbani Gurmukho kade saath nahi chhaddi. Sada ang sange apangam vipute, it is always with us. In the second Astapadi of Sri Sukhmani Sahib Ji, the very first pauri after the slok, Maharaj Satguru Ji writes, Jeh Mat Pita, Sut Meet Na Bhai, Man Uha Naam Tera Sang Sahai. Where is that place where Mata Pita, mother and father, Sut, children, Meet, friends, Bhai, friends, companions. Jeh Mat Pita, Sut Meet Na Bhai, Man Uha Naam Tera Sang Sahai. Maharaj says, in that place, Jara Naam Japya, the abhihas that we've done, Othe Sehata, it will come to our aid. Nothing will come near us. Jai Mahapyan Doot Jam Dala, Teh Keval Naam Sang Tera Challa. Gurmukh, when we leave this planet, we may not see it now. I saw this thing on Facebook, it was very funny. It was of an astronaut who was taking a selfie up in space. And someone captioned it saying, hey look, there's no God up here. I found it quite funny. So somebody else replied to it, said wait till the oxygen runs out, you'll soon meet it. So as long as we're on this planet, we may not see the path of the hereafter, but once this air runs out, we'll soon see it. And Othe Gurmukho Jithe Gurbani Ji ne ithe saath ditta, Othe vi Sri Gurbani Ji ne saath dena. Abhihas ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ I'm going to come back to the second pankti that I said I'll come back to, which was dukh par har, sukh kar le jaye. Removing our path, becoming in charge of our destiny, being with us at all times and taking control of our destiny. Gurmukha what Sri Gurbani ji does, the abhihas of Sri Gurbani ji, is the biggest dukh that there is, even bigger than Jamman Maran, is the dukh of Maya, of ignorance. That is the cause of being born again and dying again. The biggest dukh of Maya, dukh parhar means to move away. Dukh parhar, sukh kar le jaye. Sukh kar, this Sri Gurbani ji da abhihas, sukh de kar le jayegi. Where is the sukh da kar? Sachkhand. Where is the sukh da kar? Atmak avastha. Where is the sukh da kar? Brahm Gyan. Having passed through the Saptami avastha and passed through the illusion of Maya. The removal of Maya is that sukh da kar. This Maya is, to remove Maya is the hardest thing known to man and to Devte. Any being. No one but Guru can remove Maya. And we must remove this thought from our heads that Sri Gurbani ji is different from Guru. Satguru and Sri Gurbani and Vaheguru, like I said before, they are all three are one. Is Sri Gurbani ji, the abhihas of this Shabad. There's no other way of removing Maya. This is the Guru's way. Narad Muni, he is the son of Brahma. What you would call the angelic beings. He did tap once. After doing tap, many of you have probably felt this as well, after doing meditation, you kind of feel all kind of new and enlightened, should I say. So he did tap once. After doing tap, he felt, as soon as he stopped his tap, as if he had reached that Param Ananda status, that avastha. And he felt that he had the prabhav of Maya taken off him. And as he's walking, he's thinking, I've won Maya, I've won Maya. And as this thought is in his head that he has won Maya, his Guru, Vishnuji, sees him from far away. And Vishnuji thinks that Jada Sada Bhakt, he's got a tiny bit of Ankar in him now. He thinks he's beat Maya. Maya is not something that we can beat that easily. So what Vishnuji does, Vishnuji walks up to him and says, Bhakta, you look very radiant today. There's a new kind of aura about you. What's happened to you? Soon as those words of Vidiyai, of praise entered his ears, he thought, wow, I really have won Maya. Even my Guru says you look very radiant today. He goes, Maharaj, he goes, Tadi Kirpa de Naal, he goes, I've won Maya, main Maya jitli, which is a jit that no one can beat. Vishnuji goes, Wah, 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 Tanya tu, you beat Maya. Vishnuji gave him a little gadvi and said, Ja darya to pani par ke lekhe aa. And when he went down to the river to fill water, as he kneeled down to fill water, a crocodile came out. Just like in the Bible, I can't remember the biblical figure who was swallowed by a whale. I know his name, but I just can't remember it at this moment. This crocodile enveloped him completely and flung him across the other side. When he got flung across the other side, he's in a land he doesn't recognize. And he's not a male anymore, he's a female. He walks away, he goes, just intuitively, just starts walking, he finds a village, goes there, people greet him, say this, as if they greeted their own daughter. He gets married, he has children, many years have passed. He's really looking after his children, she I should say, she's bringing up her children. There's no stronger bond than the bond of a mother and a child. He's so caught up, she is so caught up, should I say, in family life, that one day when she goes to the river with her children, Ishnan Kan Gaiya, this is Narad Muni I'm talking about. As she dips into the river to have a bath with children on the riverbank, the same crocodile comes, swallows him and flings him onto the other side. And when he's on the other side, Vishnuji is only standing there. He's crying, looking around, all panic-stricken. And then he starts uttering, he goes, mere bacche, mere bacche, mere bacche, mere bacche. He's turned into a man again now. He goes, mere bacche kithe gaye, mere bacche kithe gaye. Vishnuji looked at him, Vishnuji said to him, what's happened to you? He goes, Maharaj, mere bacche nikke nikke main das nahi rahe. Vishnuji ne thappad marya ek. Thappad de naal hi jo maya da prabhav si utar ditta. As he slapped him, he removed the maya. Then he said to Narad Muni, he said, tell me now, I thought you would beat Maya. ਹੁਣ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਹੋਇਆ ਰੋਣਾ ਫਿਰਦਾ ਫਿਰ ਬੱਚੇ? In the flick of an eye, he had managed to live that length of time as a woman and had children. Just as we wake up from a dream, and the dream being the reality at that time, when he awoke from that, Vishnuji explained to him that Maya is not something that you can beat. Only your Guru can remove it. So Shabad abhihas, what does Guruji want to give us on this path of Sikhi? What is the end game? That's what we need to focus on. The end game, Gurmukha, is unity of Atma with Paramatma. And that does not happen until the illusion of Maya has been removed. And who removes it? Satguruji. Tan Bhagat Kabir Ji. Once it's removed, there is no difference between man and the God he was seeking. Tan Bhagat Kabir Ji says, Kabir Jako Khojate Payo Soi Tagore, Payo Soi Thor, Kema Soi Phirke Tu Pya, Jako Kehta Aur. When Bhagat Kabir Ji reached the Paramanand Avastha, where there was no difference between him and a Kalpurk Vaheguru, he said, the one that I was looking for, I have now found that place. The one that I was calling another, I have now turned into him. All these things we've heard, in our minds we may think we may achieve them, but they are not possible without this 8th Hukam of Sri Gurbani Ji de Shabad da abhihas karna. Sikhi is a jivan for Atma and Paramatma to meet, and whatever Guru Sahib Ji has put in place is for that union to happen. That Gurmukha brings us to the conclusion of today's Diwan. Next week, I believe, is Bhai Jagmohan Singh Ji's Wari. Das would like to thank Dhan Satguru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj Sache Paatshah, whose kirpa, apar kirpa, Das gets this duty, and yourselves were all brought here by Guru Maharaj Ji. Das wants to thank you, the Guru Pyari Sadh Sangat Ji, who even after Nagar Kirtan have turned up this evening, and also the social media team. Whilst doing Katha de Vichara, no doubt with the tuch buddhi that I have, I made untold mistakes. Please find it in your hearts to forgive and do ardas in front of Maharaj, so we can all learn. So until next time, in a few weeks' time, let's say Good Fateh, and please come again next week. Changa ji, Vaheguru ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru ji.